This happened about 7 years ago. On Halloween night, me and my cousin Ashley were sitting in the living room, half watching TV, half scrolling on our phones. It was one of those nights where everything just felt too quiet. Usually, even late at night, you'd hear something. Cars passing, dogs barking, people talking. But that night, nothing. Complete silence. The only thing sitting in the middle of the floor was my little cousin's doll. One of those baby dolls with blinking eyes, the kind that close when you lay it down and open when you pick it up. Ashley hated it. She always said it gave her a weird feeling, like it was watching her. I always laughed it off. It was just a doll. Or at least, I thought it was. About 30 minutes passed without anything happening. Then suddenly, a sound. A slow, rasping breath, like someone struggling to breathe. Right outside the window. I looked at Ashley. "Did you hear that?" She paused, then said, "Probably the neighbor's Halloween decorations." But something about it didn't sound fake. It sounded real. Too real. Then it came again. Closer this time. And clearer. Like someone trying to speak, but couldn't. I stood up and slowly walked toward the window. My heart was already starting to beat faster for no reason I could explain. I pulled the curtain slightly and looked outside. Nothing. No one. Not even movement in the trees. It didn't make sense. Then, behind me, a whisper. I turned around instantly. Ashley was staring at the doll. "It's that thing," she said quietly. I sighed and picked it up. Its eyes were closed. Normal. I even shook it a little. "Nothing. No batteries," I said. "See? It's dead." I placed it back on the floor. Silence returned. For maybe a minute. Then, the rasping came back, but this time, it was inside the house, and then I heard it, clear enough to understand. "Help! Me!" My entire body froze. Ashley grabbed my arm. "Tell me you heard that." Before I could respond, we both slowly looked down at the doll. It had moved. Not a lot, but enough. Enough that we both knew. I bent down, hesitating this time, and picked it up again. Its eyes snapped open. And I swear, it felt heavier. Like I wasn't holding plastic anymore. Like something was inside it. Something alive? I dropped it immediately. Ashley didn't hesitate. She grabbed it and ran to the basement door, throwing it down the stairs as hard as she could. We slammed the door shut and locked it. That night, neither of us slept. The next morning, I told myself it was just imagination, until I went downstairs and saw it, the doll, sitting at the top step, facing upward, like it had climbed back. So I live in a quiet area, like middle of nowhere type quiet. No blinds, no neighbors close enough to care. One night, I'm in bed, about to fall asleep. Then, tap, right on my window. I freeze. Could be a branch, right? Then, tap, same spot. Nah, that's not a branch. That's a hand. Now I'm wide awake, but I don't turn around. I'm just laying there like, if I don't move, maybe they'll leave. Then it keeps happening. Slow, steady knocks. Finally, I'm like, nah, forget this. I turn, and I see a shadow drop down under the window. Someone was literally standing there, watching me sleep. I panic, run to call the cops. While I'm on the phone, I look toward the kitchen window, and there's a guy standing there, just staring at me. Then he runs. Right after that, my neighbor calls me. Says he saw 3 dudes dressed in black walk onto my property earlier. One of them had something shiny in his hand. Yeah. I locked myself in the bathroom until the cops came. They never caught those guys. Next week, I bought blinds for every window in the house. When I was 12 years old, I met a kid named Tom. At first, he seemed normal. I was riding my bike around the neighborhood, when he called out to me from his driveway. He had a basketball in his hands and asked if I wanted to shoot some hoops. I said sure. That was the beginning. He was older than me, around 16, but at that age, I didn't think much of it. We both lived with our dads, both only children. It felt like I had finally found someone I could relate to. At least, that's what I thought. At first, everything was normal. We'd hang out, play video games, ride bikes. But then things started to change. Tom became obsessive. He would call me constantly. If I didn't answer once, he'd call again. And again. And again. Sometimes 10 to 15 times in a row. Then the messages started. Voicemails filled with anger. Why aren't you answering? I know you're home. Don't ignore me. It started to scare me. One day, he showed up at my house uninvited and rang the doorbell nonstop. My dad was home, so I had no choice but to hang out with him. I told my dad later that something felt off about Tom. He just brushed it off. Make friends. Don't be rude. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Then came the day he invited me into his house. I didn't want to go, but he insisted. The moment I stepped inside, I regretted it. The smell hit me first. Rotten, damp, like something had been left to decay. The floor was covered in trash, clothes everywhere, stains on the walls, and broken glass in the corner. It didn't feel like a home. It felt like something was wrong there. Then I heard footsteps, heavy ones. I turned and saw his dad, a huge man, standing in the hallway, just staring at me, no smile, no greeting, just staring. I instinctively stepped back. Tom laughed nervously. That's my dad. The man grunted, then walked away. Something about that moment made every alarm in my head go off. I needed to leave. Now. I made up an excuse about having a doctor's appointment. As soon as I said it, Tom's face changed. His smile dropped instantly. His eyes went cold. He didn't say anything. He just stared at me. And that stare, I still remember it. I left without saying goodbye. Almost ran home. That night, things got worse. I checked my email and saw 5 new messages, all from an address I didn't recognize. TomTom240SX@AOL.com. My heart dropped. I never gave him my email. The subject lines were terrifying. I know where you live. You messed up. Answer me. The emails were filled with threats, anger, obsession. I was shaking. I grabbed the house phone to call my dad. But then I heard something outside, rustling, in the bushes, slow, deliberate. I walked toward the window and pulled the curtain slightly, and that's when I saw him, Tom's dad, standing in the dark, right outside my house, watching me, not moving, not blinking, just staring. I dropped the curtain and ran to call the police. By the time they arrived, he was gone. After that, my dad finally took it seriously. We got a restraining order, and about a month later, Tom and his dad disappeared. Moved away, no warning, no goodbye. But sometimes I still wonder, if I hadn't looked out that window that night, would he have come inside?